Okay, finally, the wonderfully weird world of Gumball is actually here. No more trailers, no more teasers, no more educated guesses. The show is here, Gumball is back, for real. This has probably been, by far, the most hyped up cartoon release of the year. So, is it any good? I don't know, man. Let's check it out. But first, don't worry, this is not a sponsor. If you enjoy these Gumball videos or any of my other cartoon videos, then listen up because these videos have been getting absolutely pulverized by Content ID claims and demonetization over the last few months. In fact, in the last week alone, 13 videos have been claimed and demonetized, despite the fact that they all clearly fall under fair use and my channel has never had any copyright issues for damn near 10 years. Out of nowhere, the hammer is coming down hard on them in a way that has really shaken up the stability of things here. So, you know, in order to keep making the content you guys want to see, make it more often, and make it less reliant on like disruptive sponsorships and junk, I have opened up YouTube's channel membership feature. Essentially a Patreon, but it's built right into YouTube itself. All you gotta do is click on the join button below this video, it should be right next to the subscribe button, and you can choose between one of two membership tiers. There's the hey thanks tier, where for $2.99 a month, you will get special access to membership badges, custom FootofaFerret emojis that you can use in the comments, and you will get to see my new videos an entire day early. Then we have the living in denial tier. I couldn't resist. Where for $5.99 a month, you get everything that I just mentioned, but you'll also get your name shouted out at the end of every single one of my videos for as long as you are a member. There's also this super thanks button now where you can make a one-off donation, so I guess if the monthly subscription thing isn't your vibe, but you do feel so inclined as to kind of like show some extra support, that is there. But really, any and all support you guys show is beyond appreciated and will go a long way to ensuring that I can keep making more of the videos that you guys love. But also, don't worry, the videos themselves are not, and I repeat, not going behind any kind of paywall. If you want to show support by just watching the videos, that is still incredibly helpful and incredibly valid. But for those of you who are interested and able to, again, you can join up as a member by clicking the button below and choosing your tier. You'd be helping support the channel a ton, and you'd get access to fun perks. So please consider joining if you can. Thank you very much either way, and now, let's get back to Gumball. The Amazing World of Gumball Season 7, now infamously rebranded to the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball, dropped an entire season of 20 brand new episodes, and it's a pretty wild ride. And it all starts, of course, with Episode 1, The Burger, which we've known about for a while. It's a story about Gumball and Darwin trying desperately to eat healthy, but at every turn finding out that everything is either deceptively unhealthy or prohibitively expensive. To the point that they basically become scared to eat anything. That is, until they find out that all of this is caused by one singular executive who owns pretty much all the food production and distribution in their town, Elmore. It's this evil talking burger with googly eyes. And first impressions here are pretty strong. The episode starts with basically the entire teaser trailer scene of Gumball and Darwin waking up in those 7 years worth of caked on dust. The scene is completely unaltered from the trailer, but it really only acts as a cold open. The rest of the episode is completely unrelated. But the rest of the episode does pretty much feel like we're right back in the 2010s in Gumball's prime. Gumball and Darwin's new voices sound really solid in my opinion, and the show looks the same as always. But there are a handful of things that kind of stand out a bit with this new version of the show. For one, the animation is on a whole nother level, dude. For the majority of the episode, things do look about the same as they always have, but every now and then something will happen where the depth and detail of the animation just spikes. And this kind of thing is all over this season. There's too many to even count. The other really standout element of this premiere is the social commentary present throughout the entire thing. And Gumball's no stranger to this. They've done episodes about plenty of different social and political issues. I will say though, it does kind of feel like maybe they're hitting that hammer a little harder this time around. Throughout much of this first episode in particular, the focus on Darwin pointing out to Gumball all the ways in which food is deceptively unhealthy or prohibitively expensive scene after scene, it does kind of give the episode a slightly strange, like, educational vibe. I didn't have a problem with the commentary itself, but I was sort of waiting for the twist into the weirder stuff to really lock in Gumball's return. And luckily, when that evil burger showed up, I got exactly what I wanted. The episode takes a dark turn here as Gumball and Darwin realize there's no way to beat the system this dude runs, and they have no idea what they could possibly still eat without feeding into it, except maybe for the living burger man right in front of him. Yes! The overall message of the first episode of the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball, straight up, is eat the rich. That's what I was waiting for, when the commentary meets the craziness and we get Gumball. I loved it. And maybe a slightly slow start, but by the end, I was totally on board. And from there, we get episodes that cover everything from Smart Tech becoming sentient, to Gumball trying to integrate himself into a rich family for some fancy mac and cheese, to the Wattersons trying and failing to go to a theme park, which of course ends in a police chase, all the way to Gumball's principal trying to learn to love his own butt. Yeah. Really. And every single one of these episodes is chock full of expressive, unpredictable, and just plain hilarious animation. And also, the writing is still very much on point. Pretty much all the jokes land for me really well, and of course come with all the self-awareness you'd expect. There are a number of moments throughout the show where they make some pretty damn outdated meme references, but they always make sure to frame those jokes around the fact that they're outdated. The best example of this is when Gumball and Darwin are cleaning out their fridge of all the expired and outdated food, one of them being a bottle of dressing that's turned black and blue, or white and gold depending on how you look at it. Do people still remember that whole dress meme? That's like a decade old now. A part of me does wonder if references like this were something the writers always intended to include, but then had to rewrite and recontextualize as the jokes became outdated, but either way it works. But I guess the real question here is, they changed the name from The Amazing World of Gumball to The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball. So just how weird is this show? Well, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't weird, but whether or not it's any weirder than the original, I think is debatable. Okay, there definitely are some parts of the show that feel like they've cranked up the weird dial a bit, but honestly, some of those moments are kind of hit and miss. There's one episode where Gumball and Darwin find this old expired cologne that sends anyone who uses it into this crazy mind-altered trip, and it was amazing. It was kind of uncomfortable, but in a way that really helped the episode make an impression. It's trippy, it's unsettling, and then by the end, it turns into an absolutely nightmarish skate punk monster fever dream with some of the coolest animation in the season. I loved that episode. The episode about the principal's butt, however, I'm a little more iffy on. By the end of the episode, the principal performs this rap song about accepting your butt, which then turns into a wild party sequence where the principal just keeps twerking in front of all of his students. It goes for a really long time, and I'm not really a fan. It's also kind of uncomfy, but like in a bad way. I just don't think a grown man should be doing all that. A questionable setup aside though, the show pushes the chaotic energy here so far that by the very abrupt end, I did kind of have to respect the true mayhem they managed to pull off, even if this would 100% get the principal fired and probably arrested. But on that note, let's go ahead and talk about my least favorite episode of the season, episode 3, The Distance, where Gumball and Darwin are forced to live in separate rooms for the first time ever because their family is concerned with the two of them being too codependent. And from there, the whole episode revolves around Gumball becoming clingy, anxious, and paranoid about Darwin not having time for him or not needing him anymore or something like that. But they specifically frame all of it around this gag like Gumball and Darwin are dating. Gumball specifically says he's cheating on me at one point. Darwin refers to Gumball's devotion to him as the most romantic thing he's ever heard. They're leaning into this bit pretty hard, which is a little funky since they're brothers, but I mean, the show has played around with this kind of gag in the past with just how inseparable the two are. I'm not saying it isn't weird, but it's not a totally left field gag for this show to use. But at the risk of sounding overdramatic, I do think this episode took it a bit farther than maybe they should have. Primarily because of this scene where Gumball and Darwin are talking on the phone about how they'd be playing video games together if they were both there, and let me just use this clip from Rocko's Modern Life as an example.
Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
Rocko?
Mrs. Bighead?
Yeah, I think you get it. I thought I was insane. I thought I had my mind in the gutter, but no. They specifically framed this scene to be a joke about two brothers doing that. If you don't know what it is, don't look it up. I was absolutely, positively stunned by what I was seeing. I did not like it. Look, I'm not a prude when it comes to more adult jokes and family shows. I've watched way too much Animaniacs in my time to have any issue with cartoons making jokes that toe the line of being inappropriate. I promise you, I'm not just pearl clutching here, but this scene left me feeling genuinely uncomfy. And it kind of ruined the rest of the episode for me, if I'm being honest. I wasn't prepared for Gumball to get this kind of weird. Luckily though, for the rest of the season, nothing like that ever happens again. And by maybe like episode 5 or so, I'd say the season was really starting to kick into gear and find its footing. I really liked the episode The Boring, where Gumball and Darwin find out that talking to this one girl Molly is so boring that it literally freezes time. This feels like some real classic Gumball stuff. Introduce a cool supernatural concept, have Gumball and Darwin be some little mischievous brats about it, then when that backfires on them, escalate that supernatural element literally as far as you can. Which is where we get those futuristic space Vikings we saw in the trailer, as a result of Gumball and Darwin freezing time for over 100 years. It's a good episode, the kind that truly feels like no time has passed since 2011. But of course, it isn't 2011 anymore. The show has to modernize to keep up, and a great example of that is the episode The App. Now, historically, the main social media in the Gumball universe has always been Elmore Plus, basically Facebook. But in this episode, Gumball and Darwin are ditching Elmore Plus for the newest, hottest social media, Clicks app, basically TikTok. But in the process, they meet this creepy dude on the street who warns them against it because its trend-obsessed, endlessly looping, engagement-baiting content algorithm is like draining away all of the kids' time and souls, I guess. Which of course leaves them as lifeless zombies, escalating very quickly into a full-fledged zombie apocalypse, which is only thwarted once all the kids' parents get on the app, making it instantly uncool. Overall, it's a really, well, engaging episode. It's yet another example of the show making references to a bunch of different memes and TikTok trends, while also having to throw in the caveat that they're all definitely outdated by the time the episode aired. And of course, the commentary on how modern social media is designed to just keep you endlessly scrolling through algorithmically generated content, basically taking away your own agency when engaging with the app, plus the phenomenon of apps being deemed terminally uncool as soon as your parents join. It's all real. It's very plugged-in commentary for a family show. But personally, I do kind of struggle when I see cartoons especially doing this kind of thing. Like, seeing a big traditional media cartoon series trying to take shots at a more contemporary new media content style, which also happens to be where more of today's kids are spending their time, while traditional media like TV struggles more and more. Yeah, I can't really help but see that as anything other than a little bitter, especially since these kind of stories about media rotting your mind were definitely being written about TV and cartoons only a few decades ago, right? It's the kind of commentary that, if not done just right, risks making you look like a bunch of old heads just hating on whatever the new thing is. And no one wants to be that guy going, "Oh, kids these days just don't get it," you know? And while I'm not saying Gumball here crosses that line, I do think going the route of "this app makes you a zombie" is pretty damn unsubtle commentary that pushes the episode right up to that edge for me. Does any of this make sense, or am I just like chronically online? And while we're on the slightly more like mixed opinions train, I also got a little nervous at times that this 7th season might already be reusing some ideas. Now, I've said before that with a show like Gumball, the possibilities are kinda endless, but when I got to the episode The Wrinkle, I did get a bit worried. This episode is all about Gumball and Darwin's sister, Anais, experiencing stress-induced aging at the age of 4, caused by the endlessly stressful antics of her family, which is an incredibly similar setup to the season 6 episode The Brain, where Anais experiences genuine brain damage from constantly facepalming at her family's stupidity. The episodes even start identically, with Anais being seen by the exact same doctor who makes jokes about like DJing and EDM, where something their dad Richard does then making the problem even worse. The Wrinkle does go on to be a really fun episode with some absolutely fantastic animation and even a surprisingly wholesome musical number by the end, but like, we've seen this before. I know it's been 7 years, but these 2 episodes are still technically only 1 season apart. And I just really hope we don't see too many more episodes going forward with this obvious of repeated material. But you know, please, don't get me wrong. I know I've been focusing on being critical for a lot of the last bit of this video, but this season of Gumball is still really fun. The wonderfully weird world of Gumball is still well worth watching. Most of the episodes are as good as ever, so to pick things back up, let's talk about one of my favorite episodes of the season, the Amadean, which is actually the last episode of the season, so, you know, they ended off pretty strong. It's all about Gumball visiting his girlfriend Penny's house during a family reunion for her grandma's birthday. And Penny's family is super traditionalist, all wearing these hard outer shells, which is something Penny famously rejected back in the original show when we got to see her, like, bright neon fairy form. And all of this culminates in Gumball standing up to Penny's grandma on her behalf, defending her decision to break from the family's traditions shells and all that jazz. It's a really sweet moment for Gumball and Penny. Until Penny's family starts acting like they want to kill Gumball, sending him into a pure panic. But even that turns out to all be a prank, and the entirety of Penny's family then reveal their own crazy neon fairy forms under their shells. All of this to show Gumball that the shells are meant to protect the people they love, not shut them out, and further validate Penny's decision to live without her shell. It's a super wholesome moment in a show that can tend to lean more sarcastic most of the time. Plus, it still manages to mix this sweet stuff in with action, suspense, a little bit of horror, comedy, and tons of different art style choices. Basically classic Gumball at its finest. And just that one shot of Penny's family all out of their shells, the colors, the designs, it's one of my favorite moments in the entire season. Big shock, the Steven Universe fan likes the wholesome episodes. Whoop-de-doo, shut the f up. Yeah, all of this is to say, I think The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball delivers on basically every front. It's everything fans loved about the original still perfectly intact, but with bigger threats, bigger adventures, crazier antics, more biting social commentary, and some wilder swings with the storytelling, even if some of those swings lead to misses. My gripes with a few episodes aside, I don't really know how Gumball fans could go wrong here. I've seen some negative responses online and in my own comment section about the show, which left me a little confused. It's by no means a downgrade of any kind, but being real, aside from the animation, it doesn't feel like the biggest upgrade. It's just more of what we already liked, but with way better animation and some slightly more out there choices. It's Gumball, but a bit weirder. Damn, I guess they were right. Hey guys, thank you for watching my new video, and a special thank you to my Living in Denial channel members. Those being, and this is the first time I've done this, so forgive me if I mispronounce anything, L1Bruh5, Hey It's Rosa, No Nah Huh, something like that, Star Squared, Marina Casano, Strange Fan 101, Glue Gunner, Megan Modestly, Princess Ella Bunny, AR Hester, Dirk OO, Flip Flop, Mario Underground, Wolf Glar, Loki, not that one, Bucket Studios, Michael Milton, Z-Boot, The Wild Mega Low, Cyril Plays 656, Clifford Longhead, Mimikyu199, Ciela Star, Zekron, Jupiter Studios, and Galaxy. Again, massive thank you to those people who have joined the Living in Denial tier of my channel memberships. If you are any of those people, please let me know if I have mispronounced something so that I can get it right in the future, but your support is greatly appreciated, and if you want to become a member and get your name shouted out at the end of my videos, you can click the join button right below and select the Living in Denial tier. Thank you very much, Gumball! Hooray! Yay!